Very good swim here from Georgia Else next to Amy Carnegie. And a nice swim here from Niela Banza out in lane 7 as well.
Very solid swim by lane 7.
So good solid second 50 there from Amy Carnegie. So 109.79. So Niela Banza out in lane 7 there, going a 111.53 for that second place. And then Georgia Else 112.27.
So just slightly slower than Kayleen's time in that heat 3. Heat 4 going through at 33 seconds and finishing in a 109.
So Rebecca Meader back in the water there again in the 100 breaststroke. So very solid start there from her. So she is certainly wanting to chase everybody down. You got next to her in lane 3, Chanel Feltzman, and on the other side of her in lane 6, Simone Mole. So Simone Mole has done very well in the United States. A sub a 1 minute 100-yard swimmer.
It's quite
so
interesting.
They're going out
to always watch
32.18 with Simone 32.61. So very nice swimming there.
Simone Mole swimming very well, taking it to Rebecca Meader in the final 50 here.
So Simone Mole going very well there next to Rebecca Meader. So I think they're going to have two solid times here with no problems of going through into the A final. So it's going to be an interesting one this evening.
I think Simone will just out-touch Rebecca here.
So 108.51 from Rebecca Meader, but just ahead of her there, Simone Mole, 108.49. So excellent swim there from her. And third place going to Chanel Feltzman, 112.06. So excellent swimming there.
So the two fastest qualifiers for the morning. As you can see, they go through. Can't even almost split them at that 50 turn. Simone charges down Rebecca for that final touch. And just out touches, but a solid 108 by both of the girls. So it's going to be very touch between the two girls, Kayleen and no doubt Amy Kenny, when it comes to the final.
The start of 5 heats for the men's 100-meter breaststroke.
What?
So Dylan Gqeberha taking it out quite easy in that first 50, and he's coming back a lot faster. So good strong finish from him.
Final first heat of the men's 100-meter breaststroke. We have Dylan stopping on 111.18. Yuan 113, closely followed by Brandon Linden in 113. Pretty even there on the 50 touch, 50 turn. Then we have Dylan taking out that first heat. Now to the second heat. there we saw Luca 107.72, and then a whole bunch of 108s in that second heat. So now we have the times coming up, as you can see, 4 108s there, following the 107 by Gianluca. Good solid touch there. Now we are moving into heat number 3. So these will be the first of the seeded heats, as Wayne calls them, the circle heats.
So Peter Etzold has been entered on a 101.01. That's pretty fast if he can come up with a similar time like that here. He's got Petrus Truter next to him, who's always been very solid right through his age group years as well. So the two Western Cape swimmers who are going to be probably leading them in here. Anand van Rensburg out in lane 2 has also got a solid breaststroke on him. So he turns pretty close in second place, I think.
Got lane 2 going pretty good, but it's definitely the middle lanes.
So Peter Etzold showing why he's on a 101.02 on his entry time as he comes through on that last 15 meters where he's just strokes away from them. So very nice swim from him here. 102.53 followed by Petrus Truter, 103.42, and Gqeberha Langa 103.56 was certainly one of the better second 50s out of the group.
Pretty solid 102 there.
So that time has been set from the first of the circle seeded heats. So watch the 3 men in the middle. So Matthew Randall will want to challenge that 102. And you've got Ruben Smith. Always been one of my favorites there is Ruben Smith. He has a really good turn of speed on the way back. And then you've got Keon Keelock, very versatile young guy, who is out in lane 3. So turning so close to each other, but Ruben Smith turns first with a 29.23. So you should see a 101 coming up here from one of these two guys. So you can get under the 102 mark first. Matthew Randall looks like he's finishing a bit stronger. So the white cap is Matthew Randall, with the blue cap is Ruben Smith. Matthew Randall picking up the pace through to the end, and he'll be just ahead. So there, 102.36, Ruben Smith 102.56, and Keon Keelock 103.96.
Very tight finish there. Keon just out touching Matthew Randall. Sorry, Ruben. Just being out touched by Matthew Randall. Here we have our fastest heat. Hooley is the man that everybody will be watching. Then, of course, he's got Chris Smith. And then someone we don't often see, some 100 breaststroke, Matthew Sates. Better known for his freestyle IM and his butterfly, but still in the 100 breaststroke. Of course, we have our 2 World Championship finalists in Chris Smith and Michael Hooley there in the middle. Very interesting to see what happens in this heat, even though it's not a final. Swimming next to each other, they'll both want to give it a good go.
So the final 100 meters here, the new man on the block is certainly Chris Smith, and Michael Hooley, the seasoned campaigner, who's really wanting to make sure that he can get his 100 down to where he was many years ago. So these are the 2 men that are going to race each other. So Michael Hooley, 27.48, looked very controlled, so very nice swim from him. He did say to me yesterday, let's wait and see what happens in this 100 breaststroke, but he was more confident than in the past. Chris Smith has always got a solid finish, as you can see now, as he's coming through and chasing down Michael. But this is just the heat, so I'm sure that they'll be happy with their performances here this morning. They don't have to overdo it. So Chris Smith comes through. So he takes it 101.02. Michael Hooley there 102.06, and I think he'll be happy with that. And Matt Sates, what a good finish from him there, 102.67. So excellent swim there from Matt Sates. Really good to see him back in the water racing, even up to 100-meter breaststroke. So he'll be encouraged by that 102.67. So well done.
Yes, I thought that was a very impressive finish there by Matt Sates. Great to see him swimming so strongly and back. Hooley would have been a little bit disappointed with his finish there after swimming the first 50 so well. But definitely someone to watch this week, Mr. Matthew Sates. But good swim by Chris in the heat. Now we see just one heat of the women's multi-class 100-meter backstroke, and we see lane 4 leading easily. Of course, it's all done on different disabilities. And the swimmers see how close they get to their classification's world record to work out the rankings. Moving into the multi-disability men's 100-meter backstroke, we have in lane 5 Olympian Christian Sardi, who has a set classification of S7 and will be able to use his Olympic times as a qualifying time for Para Worlds this year. Many of the swimmers will be reclassified when they go to the World Cups in France. So many of them will not be able to use times here for the World Championships unless they have been classified. But it'll be a good warm-up for France to get them ready into that race mode. Moving into the women's 100-meter breaststroke. There are 6 heats. First of the circle heats will start in heat 4, but we have many young swimmers swimming in the first 3 heats. 5 swimmers here in the first heat. You can see 3 young 16-year-olds in those 3 middle lanes. Very good experience for them to be swimming here at senior nationals. Some of them for the first time. very even, but we have an outside lane of Jolene Cornelius going, of Jolene Cornelius going through first. But now we have the other side of the pool and Chelsea White coming through first. So both outside lanes are the ones that are going to touch first and second here. Chelsea White hitting that wall in 109.92, closely followed by Jolene Cornelius, 110.79. Oh. So here we have heat 2 in the water for the 100 backstroke. Again, an outside lane leading the way. I believe that is lane 2 in Melissa Kuhn. Melissa will go in for that touch, 107.05, followed by Tori Voke, 108.87. And then we've got 2 110s, 4.2 and 2.7. Moving into heat 3. Last heat before we go into those main circle heats for the morning of the women's 100-meter backstroke. You can see the times entered here, 106 and 107, so it should be a fairly even heat in this heat 3.
Very good start there from Christine Vessels. So this is the last of the heats before the circle seeded heats. So see if anybody can come up with the first 105 or even a sub 105 swim here. So Christine Vessels turned second there with a 32.45. Sorry, she'll be first with a 32.45. The board is incorrect, so can she stay ahead of the girls challenging her?
As predicted, a very close swim by all the girls.
So good to see a strong finish here from Chloe Olafia.
107.03.
So 107.03. So not coming back quite fast enough on her entry time, and we now move on to the circle seeded heats, and there's a huge depth in the 100-meter backstroke here. But you can see that start of Christine Wessels kept her ahead all the way through into the turn.
Very close finish there.
So moving on to the last three heats, and we have got the first of the circle seeded heats now. Jessica Thompson sitting in the middle, next to her Hannah Pierce, and on the other side Giselle Maritz.
I expect Jessica to go out pretty quick and to lead the girls out in this heat. Definitely known for her sprinting abilities.
So Jessica Thompson, the favorite here. Very strong backstroke and butterfly swimmer, and her freestyle right up there as well. Nice to see her with a longer, stronger stroke there, not revving too much there at the moment. Hannah Pierce, more of the 200-meter backstroke specialist in lane number 5. So going out in a time of 30.27. Hannah Pierce 30.64. That's a good first 50 from Hannah Pierce there. Sune Liebenberg 31.81, out in third in lane number 2. But Jessica Thompson there with a clear body length lead on Hannah Pierce, who will come at her at the last few meters, I would imagine. So she'll close the gap with 10 meters to go. So Jessica Thompson should stay ahead. So fairly solid swim there, 102.26. Hannah Pierce very consistent with her 102.76. And then the third place going to Giselle Maritz with a good second half there, 105.38.
Be very interesting to see what heat number 5 and heat number 6, the girls both touching there in 102 and setting the fastest times for the morning so far in the women's 100-meter backstroke. The next heat coming up, we have in lane 3, Michaela de Villiers, middle lane
so
there.
You can see the start there.
Championship.
You can see the start there that Jessica Thompson got. Okay, and they held her all the way through to the finish, but a very good finish there from Hannah Pierce. She's always strong at the end, and that's why she's such an accomplished 200-meter backstroker. This is the second circle seeded heat now. So it's going to be important to see who can get the better of the starts. So Karen Herbst always very fast out. Next to her, Mila Dracopoulos in lane 4. You've got Bailey Lambert in lane 6. So it's going to come down to who can really turn and come back the strongest. So going out first there, Michaela de Villiers, 29.98. So she's certainly setting the pace to this group. As I say, a lot of depth in this group. Michaela de Villiers out in the United States on the college scholarship. So Mila Dracopoulos coming back a lot faster here than her opposition here. She's finishing strongly. So she should pull it off, but it's going to be very, very close. But certainly swimming it the right way, coming back harder. So can she stay ahead with a few meters to go? So very nice swims there. 102.46 there from Mila Dracopoulos. And Michaela de Villiers 102.61. So Karen Herbst 102.67 and Mila van der Linde 103.70 out in lane 2 with a nice solid finish.
So now we have 5 girls having hit that 102 mark this morning. So far, looking like a very close final for tonight. Shows what the final heat will need to go. As you can see, very close first 50 there. And Mila just out touching her opposition to grab that first spot in that 5th heat.
Into our final heat now. Olivia Nell. No
lane 4 scratched.
She's scratched. So that's interesting. So that's opened up everything here for this group of swimmers. So
but of course,
Olivia Nell there. Taylor Jonker hasn't been tested for a long time. So very talented sprinter.
But
and
of course,
next to her is Indiana de Villiers. So not much in it there at the moment. So turning on 30.63 is Grace Morris. So not much in it here at the moment. Very much neck and neck coming in that last 25. Looks like Taylor Jonker edging just slightly ahead. Grace Morris on the other side and Cassidy Burgess. But I think it's going to be Taylor Jonker. Cassidy Burgess coming second. So Taylor Jonker there 103.82 and Grace Morris 105.01 and Cassidy Burgess 105.15.
So slightly slower than the other 2 heats with that 103.82 by Taylor Jonker. So it'll be really interesting to see. You can see there was nothing in it in that first 50. And Taylor Jonker taking it in that 103.5. So Taylor going through there either 6th or 7th quickest into the final tonight, with all of those top girls going in on a 102. So they will need to go a little bit quicker if they wish to get to that qualifying time for the World Championships that will be held in Singapore in July. So here you can see we've got the men's 100-meter backstroke. First heat just finishing. Touching first here, we have Harold Pino, 103.06. Just over that 103 mark. Jordan Lotta, 103.65. And then rounding out third place, 104.70. So not too bad of a start for our men's 100-meter backstroke. Just looking at the results sheets now we have in front of us. For those that would like to know, the women's 200-meter freestyle. Fastest qualifier of the morning, Amy Canny with the 2 minutes, followed by Rebecca Meader, 2:01.66. We then have Donay Kutsi, 102.57. Hannah Mouton, 202.69. The youngest person to swim in tonight's 200-meter freestyle final, just 17 years of age. She could be going to our African Championships, swimming for South Africa. Georgia Nell going in 5th fastest in a 203.13, followed by Hannah Robertson, 203.22. 7th, Cullen Motta, known for her distance ability, so that's good to see. She makes it into that 200-meter freestyle final. And then rounding out the final is Erin Gallagher, better known for her butterfly events, but she rounds out the women's 200-meter freestyle top 8 to make tonight's final, the 204.27. The men's A qualifying, the 200-meter freestyle, we have Marloff going in first, 148.81. Matt Sates, 150.78. Third, young 17-year-old, Adrian van Wyk, 151.09, so great heat swim by Adrian. Arno Kruger, 151.46. Going in 4th fastest. And then 19-year-old Matthew Caldwell going in 5th fastest into tonight's 200 men's freestyle final, 151.53. Cameron Casserly, 151.82. Going in 6th fastest. Reynard Muller, 152.42. And rounding up that top 8, Lucky Guy Brooks just scraping in, 0.09 between 8th and 9th. And actually distance swimmer Henry Lowe getting that 9th spot into being the fastest into the men's B final. So well done to Guy Brooks, just making that 8th spot in that 200-meter freestyle. But going back to what we are watching on our screens now, we're looking at the next heat in the men's 100-meter backstroke. I believe in the water for us at the moment is heat number 3. Many of them entered in on a 1 minute. So it'll be interesting to see if any of them can get under a minute to be the first ones to start going under that sub-minute for the 100 backstroke in this morning's heats. Outside lanes going pretty well at the moment. You can see lane 2 and lane 7, which has happened often this morning, so I don't know if there's a bit of a current in those middle lanes.
So there, Jeremy Labuskotny, 60.46 there, so just about under that minute will beat. Very good to see lanes 2 and 7 coming through there, 60.94.
I've done mine. I've done mine. Here we have the beginning of heat 4. There are 7 heats. In this men's 100-meter backstroke. You can see great start there by our middle lane swimmer once again. I believe That is lane 5 of Christopher Stratham, taking it out in 28.38. Still waiting for some swimmers to get under that 1 minute mark. We could see it here by Christopher Stratham. Still leading this heat very, very easily. Under the flags, going in for the touch, and he does go under a minute. I believe our first swimmer to go underneath that minute, 59.71. So a very solid swim there by Christopher Stratham to take heat 4 of the men's 100-meter backstroke. See, he led from start to finish into that 50-meter turn. Very strong through the middle. And easily finishing first with that sub-minute. So here we have the start of the heat 5. Should see the times dropping quite a lot now. And you see that entry time for lane 4 is a 53, which is a lot quicker than a 59. See lane 4, it is Vikas Gqeberha leading them out in a 27.32. Followed by Ronan Theron with a 27.77 and Dylan Wright 27.89. Keeping his lead there is because Gqeberha, but I believe lane 3, Ronan Theron, is finishing very quickly. And he finishes on a very classy 56.72. So you can see the times are dropping now, with the heat before being a 59, where here you've got 6 swimmers going underneath that minute mark, with a 56.72 as the fastest time of heat 5 of 7. So very even 50 there, but Theron really finishing fast and taking that heat 5. Very well swum by Ronan. His back end was very, very strong. So now we should see the times drop once more in heat 6. Then the second last heat and the second last heat of the morning for this first morning of the South African Swimming Championships. We see Ruan van Rennen turning there first in the 26.61, followed by Adrian van Wyk in 27.52, and lane 3 with the 28. Finishing strong here, we have lane 4 with Ruad van Rennen, 55 exact, so a very solid time. The quickest of the morning, Adrian van Wyk, 56.59. And then a very close finish for third, 58.52 and 58.55. So a very good 50 there by Ruad van Rennen. just missing getting under that 55 to that 54 time, but 55 exact to lead this morning's heats. But of course we have our Olympian Peter Kutsi now for our final heat. We should see him be the easily fastest for the morning. We have next to him Caden Naidu, and on the other side of Peter, Jonah Paul Jones. You can see Peter's easily leading here in the first 50 meters. Very, very solid first 50 meters. Great turn by Peter, known for his underwater skills, especially in that short course meters. 25.73 for Peter Kutsi, the 27.14 by Jonah Poole, and 28.53 by Caden Naidu. But we see Peter extending that lead, swimming very, very strongly for a morning swim, touching first at a time of 53.03. So even though that's nowhere near his best, a very, very good, strong morning swim, and just not getting to that 52 mark.
Yeah, that finish of Peter Kutsi, he is so strong at the finish, and his 100 backs is right up there at the world-class level. And Olympic finalist Ruud van Reerden is going to be the one who's going to push him to his best this evening. So this is going to be a great men's 100 backstroke final, and it's so nice that we've got two guys who could possibly qualify and go off to world champs this year. It's always good for our relays as well to start looking at the relays well in advance of 2028. You know, to start setting them up. We certainly have the talent. We just have to make sure that everything's put in place for them to get the best out of their talent.
But we'll see Peter go through fastest, and there should be some very exciting races going into tonight's finals. We'll see that men's 200 meter freestyle will be very exciting. And of course we've got that race in the women's 200 meter freestyle between Janae Kutsi, Amy Canny, Rebecca Meader.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to have some really exciting swimming tonight. The final's always going to be on a much higher note. And yeah, let's see, maybe a record or two. Certainly a lot of qualifying times coming up here from our top swimmers, our Olympians who were on duty last year. So it's going to be exciting swimming coming through this evening.
The women's. Thank you for joining us for the morning.
Attention, it was changing to the B200-meter freestyle. Ty Pearson, you move into the B-final. First reserve will now be Chloe Doctor from Practice Hunting, and second reserve will be Kayla Goldfield from Practice Hunting, Johannesburg. And then there was changing in B-final 5, the 200-meter breaststroke. Here are